From Wilson, North Carolina, Field 1 of the Gillette Soccer Complex, it is the boys' U.S. Youth Soccer National League Select Tournament. Hello, everyone. I'm Marky Bilson giving you today's action between McLean, Virginia's McLean 2000 Green Team and Cup Gold 2000-2001, a team from Cincinnati, Ohio. Gold, well, and this is something unique for today's action, as this is the third game I've called today, but Gold will be in gold uniforms, black and gold. Now, how many of these guys will be rooting for the black and gold from Pittsburgh this Sunday against their hometown Bengals? Probably none, but for now, they're wearing black and gold. Meanwhile, the team McLean Green, hey, they're well named as well, because although their predominant color is white, they are wearing green trim. So green versus gold, I like it. That's the action today. And for McLean, and McLean is a northern Virginia suburb, Fairfax County, just south of Washington, D.C., they defeated Fullerton 4-0 in their first game of this tournament. Meanwhile, Cincinnati fell 4-2 to UFA from Georgia in their first competition. This is a 15 and under tilt, and in fact, two players for the team from Cincinnati are playing up. They're 14-year-olds, two of the promising players, as a matter of fact, obviously, if they're 14 on a 15 and under team, as it's Connor Andrews and Luke Birdsong, and we'll be telling you more about those fellas later on. Cincinnati goes into a base 4-4-2, kind of the base formation. Meanwhile, look for McLean to go for more of a complex 4-1-2-3 formation, so they're a little more striker-friendly, and ask their midfield to have a variety of skills. We're underway. Of course, that is the team from Cincinnati in the black and gold, and they are going from left to right. The white and green team, McLean Green. I like it. I like the name. It goes from right to left. Kind of a North Texas mean green field to it. McLean Green. I like it, like I said. The goalkeeper taking that was Tony Duchik. Duchik, the goalkeeper for McLean. Is that correct? Yes, for I'm sorry, I have them mixed up. My apologies. Ryan Burrig is the player that covered that ball. And meanwhile, for McLean, as I mentioned, Tony Duchik is the goalkeeper here. So Duchik is wearing, as one might say, sort of a fluorescent light green jersey with a number on it. And for the gold team, and I do apologize for this, I'm generally given the rosters and who is going to play on the team about 5 minutes before the game. And I know that may not be an excuse, but that's kind of the way we do it here when we have so many games at one time. And so try to get as much information as you can in that period of time, and then oftentimes just let the game play out and in front of each other on your computer screen there as you watch it from wherever you may well be. Those watching in from Cincinnati, I know just sometimes the understanding of technology. I know many parents will be watching this game here, and just sometimes it is so hard to fathom where this game right now from a soccer field in Wilson, North Carolina, which is several miles outside of Raleigh, the Raleigh vicinity, if you will. I think it's actually 47 miles officially from Raleigh. Where you have a circumstance where you can watch this game here from really anywhere in the world. And I recall just being a baseball fan, and I once had a conversation, I'm going to name drop here, with George Grand, the Cincinnati Reds broadcaster, in which I said to Mr. Grand, you know, we discussed how growing up we were probably the only kids who couldn't wait for it to get dark, because that meant we could get the AM signals and listen to baseball games already in progress from wherever they may be played, along with the crackles that the thunderstorms between there and here were. And now, you know, you have just from wherever you are on your computer here, no problem. And it's just like, you know, at one time I wanted to live where my teams were so I could watch them. And now that's not quite as important as it once was. It's still part of the local culture and circumstances like that. But the Turbo Sports Group bringing you the most modern technology and ability to see this game from wherever you may be. Scoring opportunity there for the Cincinnatians. And in fact, Duchik was quite fortunate to be able to sort of get a handle on the ball. Here we have maybe a scoring opportunity, but nice play there by the players from the Northern Virginia area. Specifically give some credit there. I think it was Yassine Elkaline who knocked that ball away from number 24, Brendan Callow. Callow, a center defender, but he had that opportunity. Now, Cincinnati will play a diamond in the middle. A lot of times you see that in the defensive line, you know, who's sweeper or whatever, and instead, the diamond in the middle. So perhaps that 4-4-2 a little bit more complex than previously advertised. This ball goes out of bounds. We are just underway. And a player goes to the ground. For McLean, it was Garrett Sokas. Took a tumble, and now that means the green will have the ball again. No score early going. Roughly 5 minutes into the game. I will describe to you that while you're watching on your screen, please keep in mind that I do not have the view of that action. There's no monitor in front of me. I'm not in a press box. I'm actually, and you may actually see me with the headset as the camera goes on, where you're a circumstance where I'm reporting and trying to give you the action, much like a sideline reporter would in American football, where you have a circumstance where I'm reporting right from the field. And sometimes here on the Turbo Sports Network, that has been a very demonstrative, and it's given you an insight, I imagine, where you may be able to hear coaching commands or something like that. I'm actually at midfield, but standing a little bit closer to the Cincinnati side of the field. The weather today is sensational. You could not have asked for more, and if you did, no one would like you. Right now, it is 70 degrees. On December 11th, 2015, it's 70 degrees. These are record highs. It's been a very mild winter so far. Actually, it's not winter at all, is it? It's still autumn, so perhaps that has some. And there are still a few leaves left on trees here in Wilson, North Carolina, which when you see a wide shot of the field, you may be able to see, although this is North Carolina, obviously. And let's face it, although perhaps not quite like the Midlands of South Carolina and North Carolina, you have pine trees. And so you'll see a few evergreens in the back. Shot to the center, and it goes in! McLean takes a 1-0 advantage, a header, and I believe that is the player waving his arms, hugging number 15. I'm going to try to get the number for you here for just a second. But McLean, as soon as I can get the number, and that appears to be, I think, number 28. And that is on the roster, and I do apologize for William Blake, one of the strikers, with the score. 0-0. 0-0. Let's go. 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 So Blake scores about 9 minutes into the game. These are 40-minute halves with 15-year-old players, not 45, as they'll have to play in a couple of years. But Blake with the score. Now I'm told that's the second goal that Blake has scored in this tournament. He had one of the 4 tallies that McLean enjoyed yesterday. We're in the early parts of the game here, about 10 minutes in. 1-0. McLean, Georgia, listen to me, Virginia. Well, they were both south of the Mason-Dixon, weren't they? Well, they are a few miles apart. Nice cover there. That one by the goalkeeper, Tony Duchik. It's an athletic day. What is the Boys U.S. Youth Soccer National League Series? Well, U.S. Youth Soccer National League games this week are kicking off the 2015-16 season. And following these games in Wilson, North Carolina, as mentioned before, a little bit outside of Raleigh area, that's sort of part of North Carolina. As the ball goes to the center, I want to tell you that after these games, future games will be played in Orlando as well as Las Vegas. National League teams are comprised of the top 80 boys teams from across the land. Teams in the National League have earned their place in the league based on success in U.S. Youth Soccer regional and national events. The National League sets itself apart from other leagues based on the meaningful matches, and in addition to playing in front of some of the top scouts in the country, and we'll be telling you where some of them are from. Mentioned here that, well, in the previous game played on this field, there were scouts from, say, Notre Dame actually watching the previous action, but let me just say that many of the top scouts in the country are attending these games this week. There are actually 4 games being played simultaneously as we speak. And they're trying to all earn a berth to the 2016 U.S. Youth Soccer National Championships in the Metroplex, Frisco, Texas. Now, a lot of National League alumni have gone on to play in such prestigious competitions as the NCAA College Cup, Major League Soccer, NWSL, UEFA Champions League, and, of course, the FIFA World Cup. And, again, I told you it was 70 degrees out, and the coaches are actually in shorts. So it's been unseasonably warm, and although the clouds are light, it's a sunny day. I mean, to say that it's partly cloudy, I guess, would be technically true, but it's not going to rain. There's 0% chance of rain if you're looking at that. But I am told here in Wilson that there has been maybe just a little bit more rain than you would think, and that comes from having the warm winter. And so you see on one side, although it's the opposite side of where the ball is being played now, as we have a goal kick here for Cincinnati, and not able to get it past Duchik. I'm trying to get the player here because I can't yet make out his name, or his number actually on the back. That is actually number 2, Connor Wilson. Boy, many of the center defenders getting a lot of shots off here. But nevertheless, you have a circumstance right now where for Cincinnati, who trails at 1-0 to the Northern Virginia green team, who are of course predominantly wearing white, but they have green on the uniforms. I know that the team from Cincinnati is well, the Bengals are the arch rival, obviously, of not only the Browns but the Steelers. But where I'm going with this is that if you can recall, when the Cleveland Browns, they were called the Browns, but once upon a time, their uniform scheme, not so much this now, but they used to basically very rarely wear brown. It was very commonplace for the Browns during the Bernie Kosar era, for instance, to wear an all-white uniform, and I guess their numbers were brown, but of course the helmet was orange, and of course the Bengals uniforms originally were modeled after the Browns, Paul Brown, the founder of the team, so on and so forth, founder of both teams, I suppose. But where I'm going with that is that it's a similar color scheme with McLean green, or they have white, but as the Cleveland Browns were once called Browns, it only had the brown numbers on their uniforms here. McLean green called the green, but their numbers are green, their uniforms predominantly white, at least here in the early going of the game. We expect that they will become brown in a way, and team, but perhaps not the predominance. Northern Virginia with a 1-0 lead over Cincinnati. Cincinnati wearing the black and gold.
Go ahead. Now we get the ball. Daniel, get there.
Nice block there. The ball looks like it will go out of bounds. No, not quite. And in transition, falling down, almost had his hands touch the ball. That was number 11, and number 11 is Luke Birdsong. They call him Birdie, and he's got quite a trip ahead of him. He's one of the 14-year-old players I talked about at the beginning of the game. The goal was scored by William Blake of the Green. We're approaching the midway point of the... Not quite there, though. First half. Now in transition, here comes Cincinnati. We'll have our first subs of the game. But again, the weather unseasonably warm, so a very fine day. And I was trying to mention, and the ball is going towards midfield, the left side of the field much greener than the left side, and ball is right now on the right side. That's where Cincinnati is trying to attack. As for the Gold Cup team, Luke Rockwood comes on and Riley Shanks comes off. So here comes the Natty with well, you start thinking about it this way. Consider the differences when you're talking about a game between teams from, say, the D.C. area, Northern Virginia, and Cincinnati area. Just how different a term or a word like the Natty could be, as I actually get a chance to field the ball there. The Natty is a term that Cincinnatians often like to call their town. You know, Pittsburghers call them the Burg, that sort of thing. Well, it seems the rest of the country might nickname the town Cincy. You know, the Natty is kind of, I guess, replaced the Queen City or certainly Porkopolis. But think about Natty. You say Natty and you start thinking about a brand of beer in the D.C. area. Not anything that these players are going to be taking at this time, we hope. The player chasing the ball for McLean is number 99. That is Kamyab Perose. So Perose wearing number 99, and that's always an easy name to remember and all that. The McLean, Virginia team up 1-0. The green is coached by Jameel Walker. Meanwhile, Chuck Rodriguez is the guy calling the shots for Cup Gold 2000-2001. Throw in and another nice save and a second nice save. Two nice knockdowns right there by the goalkeeper, Tony Duchik. Boy, kept the game to a 1-0 advantage for the lads from Northern Virginia as we're now halfway through the first half. Long whistle blows.
30. Come on, work hard. Okay? What's the ball, son? Keep it up. My players stop the ball. Keep it. Connor, connect. No more. No reason to argue about a call that doesn't matter. In the air.
So Jameel Walker actually trying to get his team right now focused here instead of worried about calls. It's kind of that I think is quite a positive and almost a refreshing coaching change. Worry about things you can control, not things that you can't. I'm impressed with that message. So I'll say fine coaching by Jameel Walker right now. McLean trying to take a 1-0 advantage here and make it a 2-0 lead. Or nil as the case may be, but as I like to tell people, folks, I'm an American. We'll have a sub come up here for the Cincinnatians in a second. And the ball goes out of bounds. So coming in for Cup Gold, that's Ben Heggie and Birdie Birdsong. Luke Birdsong comes out. Now I'm told that Birdsong and Connor Andrews, who wears number 12 for the Cincinnatians, will be going to train with the, they're going to be the guests of Dortmund, and they're going to train in Germany at some point to extend their soccer careers. They are 14-year-olds playing on this 15 and under team. In fact, Birdsong is only 13 years old, born July 21st, 2002. Connor Andrews will have a birthday in a couple of weeks. He'll turn 14, actually. So actually, they are both 13. Connor Andrews, born 2 days before Christmas Day in 2001. Which was about when the Steelers were ending their season as the top seed in the AFC playoffs, but it would be the New England Patriots who would go on to win their first Super Bowl. McLean trying to get the ball. Nice possession and footwork there. Give credit especially to Piros. And now as they try to cross, Cincinnati gets the ball back. And this will be Elias Ordonez, number 83, chasing the ball, but it ultimately goes out of bounds. One nothing Natty trails it to McLean, Virginia. That's Cincinnati and Northern Virginia as we are Now, approximately 15 minutes remaining in the first half. We have a little bit of extra time, but there hasn't been, outside of the goal being scored, much stoppage of play. The player with the ball right now is number 12, Daniel Diaz-Bonilla. And Diaz-Bonilla, whistle blows, and, well, there's the possession. Looking at scouts, it's a 15-year-old game, so perhaps not as many as you would see a year or two older. We had earlier today scouts from a representative here. So did Mercer, Oberlin. The ball going to Cincinnati. Long kick there. It was Luke Rockwood who took the kick. Nothing really doing. It's 1-0 Northern Virginia. We have a yellow card. Jameel Walker wanting to know what the call was, and I'm trying to find that out myself. See who the player is on. We'll get that to you if no later. A yellow card, so evidently they're saying don't say anything is what Jameel Walker is saying to his team, which I heard him say before. And to be honest with you, I haven't seen any great jawing as Rockwood comes out. But in 3 games called today, it's the first yellow card I've seen on this field. So a warning given. Transition, Cincinnati gets the ball back. And the ball goes out of bounds. Don't know if you heard that, but the emphasis there was to say we need to get a little more pressure. If you have a shot, take it. And he told that to a new player coming in. I say he, that would be the coaching staff of Cincinnati. Here's a shot that is broken up. The shot taken by Diaz-Bonilla, and Brandon Callow, who is sizable presence as number 24 for Cincinnati, the black and gold team. This ball is taken by Burrig, the goalkeeper. So our next stoppage, as we're approaching the 10-minute mark of the half. And again, we're going to have a substitution very shortly for Cincinnati, the next stoppage of play. collision here. Who's going to get the ball? Appears to be McLean. And so before this ball can be thrown in by Diaz Bonilla, Nathan Diemling, who has one of the 2 goals scored by Cincinnati in this tournament, comes in, and he will be replacing Samuel Kunkemoller, who has the other goal scored. Cincinnati 0-1. They were defeated by UFA Georgia 4-2 in the first game of this tournament that Cup Gold played. Transition here. And we're going to see another sub here. This one for McLean, Virginia. Fairfax County, if you will. Opportunity here, and the ball goes in! Give the credit to the goal for Elias Ordonez, and then we have a 1-1 tie. Elias Ordonez from, about the top of the 18-yard box from the left wing, putting it past the goalkeeper, Tony Ducic, and it's a 1-1 game. Substitution being made. Coming in, Winston Agbera, and coming out is William Blake, who has coming in. And now Cincinnati, who is kind of taking control of the game in the recent minutes. They've just scored the tying goal, thanks to Elias Ordonez. And the ball going out of bounds. That's the first goal that has been allowed by the Virginians in this tournament. They won a 4-0 shutout against Fullerton, Fullerton, in their first game. Ball goes out of bounds. And the players from the Old Dominion will make another substitution against their Buckeye State competition. Coming into the game will be Brendan Murray, number 11, as well as number 17, Dean Hughes. Meanwhile, it is Camyab Peros who's coming out, along with number 55, Tyler Smith. Goal kick here as McLean tries to take the lead, but the shot taken by number 15, Raphael Leslau, is blocked. Still, the Virginians with possession, but not for long. It's Burrig making the save, and here comes a change of possession. Approximately 6 minutes remaining in the half. And this ball goes just wide. Shot was taken by Agbara, I believe, or Agbera. A 1-1 tie, Cincinnati and Northern Virginia. McLean, Virginia to be select, or correct in this select tournament. McLean 2000 green. Center of the field. Now Burrig will have a chance to clear it away and try to get, well, in hockey they'd call it the dump and chase. And hit the official. We'll have another substitution soon. There's the goal scorer, as a matter of fact, kicking it deep. But McLean will get possession back. Ordonez, number 83, kicking it deep, and we'll have a sub very shortly for the final stages of the game as Duchik puts his hands on the ball and throws it to a teammate on the far side of the field. The teammate's name is Murray, Brennan Murray.
Play, Jack! Play! Go, Brennan!
Substitution being made now. We have approximately 4 minutes remaining in this game, or excuse me, this half. Coming in is Matt Sutton for Cincinnati, and coming out, Tony Bushley, earning a well-deserved rest. This kick going deep to the center of the field, and McLean is going to get possession out of it. Chance to take the lead. We're tied at 1. Closing moments of the first half. As you can see, and I talked about this earlier, the pitch on this, the left side of the field, is simply very dirty. It some of the moisture that has gone on here, and it's not a wet field by any means. In fact, the fact that it's been warm, but you know, it will snow this time of year in North Carolina. Don't get this kick across the field, and the point being, so there's been rain with the warm weather and not snow, and it has resulted a bit into what you wouldn't call a muddy pitch by any means, but kind of a pitch where it's a bit torn up, if you will. The grass still green, but a lot of dirt there, and I've theorized that could, you know, footing be more difficult on that side of the field? Could it be a slower pace on that side of the field? I'm probably looking a little bit at it too much, but then again, remembering American football, and I guess you can tell that I'm from Pittsburgh and a Steelers fan with this reference that I'm going to make, but several years ago, Miami and Pittsburgh played a game at Heinz Field under really muddy and treacherous conditions, and the game was won on the final stages on a field goal, and the final score was 3-0 with the Steelers beating the Dolphins. This occurred a little bit less than a decade ago, but it was the field conditions that had kept the score low. Nobody could get any traction. And so Burrick will kick this one deep. And we're going to have a substitution for the final stages of the game. We've got about 1 or 2 minutes remaining. On the left wing. Ball kicked away from Diaz-Bonilla. So a final rush here as Jameel Walker decides to go with some fresh players. Coming in for the green, it's Jet Bissett. I like it. I like the name. As well as Abel Lewis. Now coming out will be Jack Rosner, as well as number 7, Yassine Alkaline, one of the top scorers, striker for the green. He already has a goal in this tournament. Ball going to midfield. Goal is scored by actually this man, Ordonez, although he doesn't have the ball now. And William Blake had a goal, his second of the tournament. Blake had the first one for McLean, and we're tied at 1 here in the final stages of the first half. To the center. McLean not necessarily playing with tremendous urgency, and in fact turns the ball over. And I believe we're in extra time now.
Referee. The foul, referee. Thank you. Yes.
I'm keeping time on the field myself, and so the time is unofficial that I'm keeping.
We need you showing.
But we'll soon have our half. And I believe that is it. Yes. So the end of the first half has our score tied 1-1 between Cup Gold 2000-2001 from Cincinnati, thanks to their goal from number 83 Elias Ordonez, and William Blake, striker for McLean 00 Green from Virginia. He has scored the first goal of this game. That's why it's a 1-1 tie. You're watching the Turbo Sports Network. The second half here at the Boys U.S. Youth Soccer National League Select Series from Wilson, North Carolina. It's the Gillette Soccer Complex, field number 1. There are 4 games being played simultaneously, and you have a 1-1 tie between McLean, Virginia, McLean 00 green, or 2000 green if you prefer, and Cup Gold 2000-2001. They hail from the Natty, Cincinnati, Ohio. We're about ready to kick off the second half, a 40-minute half here. Goals, we do have a correction. I want to point out, while Elias Ordonez did score the second goal, which came in a crowd in the header, was actually scored by Yassine Alkaline. So Alkaline with the goal for the green. Back in the truck. So a 1-1 tie here. And there is no overtime. So if this one, after 40 minutes, remains a stalemate, that's the way it goes. And if that's the case, then the green will remain undefeated, while the Cup Gold will remain winless. So we'll see what happens. We have a kick here. Jameel Walker, who I'm told is a former MLS player, played for DC United, and of course, DC United playing in RFK Stadium, former home of it was the first multi-purpose stadium, and it still stands, RFK. So we're hearing right now the players from Cincinnati. So we have a goal kick right here. And I'm trying to decipher the number of the kicker from this goal corner kick. Kick was taken, now that I see it, and I realize I'm a little bit behind the times here, but I want to give credit to the kicker, who was Samuel Kunkemoller. And Kunkemoller actually has one of the 3 goals that Cincinnati has scored in this tournament. And he's a fresh leg. He actually was taken out the second half of the first half, if that makes any sense to you. So he's a little bit more rested than perhaps another player might be. This game will likely end somewhere around 3:40 in the afternoon, and so in that case, it's giving you a time to budget the rest of your day. I know most viewers on the Turbo Sports Network will be watching from the Eastern Time Zone as Duchik collects the ball and he'll punt it away. The muddy pitch right there, and again, we'll see if that has any sort of an impact. It means less possession time or so for Cincinnati if they try to score. Of course, the black and gold clad team going from right to left. So there'll be a kick taken, a corner kick actually taken. Chance here for McLean to take the lead. So it was also told during the half that there are actually 4 players from the Old Line State joining the Old Dominion. It makes sense, okay? Old Line State, Old Dominion, why wouldn't they border? 4, as the song Hail to the Redskins says, separated by Old DC. No wonder those people don't like New York. So I said Jameel Walker, and you can perhaps hear him giving coaching instructions for the defense of McLean right now. But he played in the MLS for DC United. And, of course, if you're an old football fan, you'll remember DC United was the home of the Washington Redskins for many years, from I think it was 62 to the late 90s, certainly. And the second coming of the Senators were played there. The Frank Howard Senators, if you will, you know, the ones that Mickey Vernon managed, didn't play for, those guys. Eventually moved to Texas. And then the Nationals played there, but the one at home, and there's also Team America, if anybody remembers the old North American Soccer League. They played at RFK, but originally called DC Stadium. Anyway, that's where Jameel Walker used to play his home games with DC United. Brendan Murray will throw the ball in. You're at Socas. Going back to the center of the field. You're in a 1-1 tie here in Wilson, North Carolina. Second half action. One of the nice things about this tournament, although it does require me to get all the information I can in a very short period of time, but one of the circumstances of this event is that the games start promptly when they are scheduled for. The game is to begin at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It begins at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and generally not at 2:01. So with time often kept on the field, and admittedly it's unofficial time, but you're looking at a circumstance where you can set your stopwatch, or just even by your watch, if you didn't set the stopwatch, you kind of get an idea of how much time is left. So I think I said around 3:40 the game. The half lasted 10 minutes, and it was rigidly timed at 10 minutes. Is this a wonderful save right there with his leg by Duchik. The ball goes wide, so give credit there to Duchik for keeping this one a tie game. Cincinnati, though, with a little bit of momentum. In fact, Brennan Callow is applauding his teammates. Thought that was a great series right there. But it's still a 1-1 tie. Ball goes out of boundaries. We haven't seen any balls go down the hill yet. That's been something that on this field one in Wilson is something that you see a lot of. You can probably tell from the camera angle that beyond field one is a set of woods, and it's somewhat sunken. It goes downhill. And when you're in North Carolina, what do you think of in North Carolina? You think of woods and hills. Nice coast-to-coast play right there, but Diaz Bonilla kicks the ball over the net. We'll have a sub here very shortly as coming into the game, Michael Reyes. I want to give a credit actually where it's due. want to tell you that it was actually Alkaline who scored the goal. I get it to Blake earlier, but it was Alkaline who had the goal. Winston Agbera comes out. Agbera had a scoring opportunity in the first half, but just missed the net. Play goes out of bounds. And there'll be about a half hour left to play here. Kick goes errant. Burrig, who had a lot of action in the first half, so yet to get a shot on goal in this half, yet to make a save. It's a 1-1 tie. Berg, the keeper for the Natty. Ball in the center of the field. And we're out of bounds. So the Virginians with the ball and throwing it in will be Murray. We'll have a sub here for the Ohioans very shortly. Is the sub coming in? Coming out for Cup Gold. Well, first let me tell you that Riley Shanks is coming in. And John Grinstead, nicknamed Parker, is coming in. Or out, excuse me. Parker coming out. The lights have come on now. Still relatively early. It's just the 3 o'clock hour. The sun is shining. And I think it's sort of a precaution. In about 2 hours, and although I know many of you will not be watching the game, as some may, to follow all the action here, but see where teams could go or play. But Field 1, which is illuminated artificially, and come the 5 o'clock hour, we have a 4:58 sunset, so the sun will be shining for the remainder of this game, but in the next one, that's when those lights might become a factor. Here comes the substitution for McLean. Alkaline, who has the only goal of the game for the Green, will come in. A correction. I earlier said it was Blake, and what had happened is that when we had a circumstance where the goal was scored, I believe it was Blake waving his arms, and the number was to his back, so I was not able to give you the proper goal score. It is the player coming in, Alkaline, and coming out is Jet Bissett. Long kick. And Cincinnati now with possession deep in McLean territory. And here comes Cincinnati keeping it again, the opponent's end. They relinquish possession, and the Green will have the ball. Just about 25 minutes remaining in the game, a little bit more, 26 actually, I think, to be official about it. A long kick. This one goes out of bounds. The center of the field. Kicking the ball deep. And out of bounds. This kick by Cincinnati goes over the goal. Luke Birdsong, we call him Birdie with one of the kicks. And as I mentioned before, thanks to Dortmund, he's going to go to Germany to train for a week. Birdsong's only 13 years old, wearing number 11. Connor Andrews is also 13, wearing 12. This is a 15 and under game, but that's taking it a bit extreme. Another sub coming in for McLean. And it is a save made by the goalkeeper. McLean with the ball. This one goes out of bounds, and we're going to have mass substitutions here. Coming in for McLean, it's going to be Rosner, Jack Rosner, as well as Tyler Smith, number 55, and number 99. No, not Wayne Gretzky, but Kamyeb Peros. Coming off. Hughes, Murray, I wanted to say Alkaline, but that is not correct. Coming off for gold is Luke Rockwood. And because he had his jumper on, I couldn't necessarily make out the player who was coming in. I do apologize, but certainly he'll get the ball at some point. We'll identify him and you'll know. The ball of the player is pulled down, and I think we're going to have potentially, is this going to be a penalty shot? We've had a yellow card before, but we shall see. A couple of other subs coming in here. As we approach the halfway mark. So the shot will be taken. Try to get the number. I am right now screened by seeing who it is. This is for Cincinnati to try to take the lead. They recently inserted Luke Rockwood, who just came into the game. I think I said he might have been kicking out. I got that confused. So Luke Rockwood comes into the game. And, well, no, and he's not taking the penalty shot. Scoring instead, taking the shot. Let's see what's going on. There's another whistle, and what happened? Burying that, I'm trying to find out. It appears to be David Brocious took the shot instead. And what's going on? They say instead that didn't count. Well, evidently it didn't count. Somebody was doing something wrong. Taking the shot now is going to be Samuel Kukamoller. Kukamoller, who's already scored a goal, does it again, and Cincinnati has a 2-1 lead on the penalty kick. Well, about at the three-quarter mark of this game, Yassine Alkaline scores his second goal of the tournament. He joins number 83. Excuse me, that is incorrect. That is not Alkaline. I'm looking at the wrong roster. Samuel Kunkemoller scores his second goal of the tournament. He joins Elias Ordonez. And it's a 2-1 lead for Cup Gold. The ball taken here by Duchik. It was 1-0 in favor of McLean. They scored a goal thanks to Alkaline. Excuse me, I'm reading the name is spelled Elk, E-L-K-A-H-L-O-U-H-N. Excuse me, there's no H. E-L-K-A-H-L-O-U-N. Alkaline. Now Ordonez, the first goal scorer for Cup Gold, will come on. And we're going to have a substitution, so the offensive talent for Cup Gold will be coming in. Ordonez comes in. And checking out the congratulations with his team up 2-1, excuse me, is Tony Bushley. This ball goes out of bounds. Game is in its final quarter, if you will. Less than 20 minutes remaining. McLean getting their first real chance to score now in this game. I shouldn't say in this game, in this half. Cincinnati had dominated possession. We talked a little bit about the field. And I'm wondering a little what the reaction would be, you know, with the pitch so muddy on one side, but still relatively clear. This is the ball on the muddy side, and I'm wondering if because it is, and again I say muddy, it's maybe more dirty. I don't know if it's quite a mud. You can see here the grass is still in pretty decent shape on this, the right side of the field, or shall I say the Cup Gold end, the end that McLean is going to be trying to attack on. Now the other side is muddier, and I'm wondering if earlier on that might not have been a factor on why the ball was in that end so often. Cup Gold with a 2-1 advantage thanks to a penalty shot that was buried by Samuel Kunkemuller. And Kunkemuller, his second goal of the tournament. To the center, and this kick just misses. An attempt to tie. That came from Alkaline, and Alkaline has the only goal of the game for McLean. 2-1, Cup Gold leads it. And so the players from Porkopolis get the ball back. Something of a dated reference when you say Porkopolis. Like calling Pittsburgh the Smoky City or something like that. I mean, it's Cleveland the sixth city, although I think that you might still be able to get away with that one because it's a bit more complimentary. Here comes the Natty with a chance. Potential breakaway. Can he get free for a shot? No, some extraordinary defense there by McLean. But here comes Ordonez taking the ball down the field right there for the Natty was Luke Birdsong. That's the player that's going to go play in Germany or train in Germany, and we understand why thanks to the people at Dortmund. And now it appears, are we going to have a goal kick from Ordonez? No, he's going to throw it in. Or did I speak too soon? We'll have a goal kick here. Rockwood is going to take. Now, in the first penalty shot, it looked like Rockwood was going to take it, and then some sort of confusion. And so when they did it all over again, it was instead Kunkemuller who was able to bury it. Time growing a bit short. We have just under 12 minutes remaining, plus whatever extra time we'll have. And considering the penalty shot, there probably will be some extra time. McLean just cannot seem to be able to get free or anywhere towards the 18-yard box. Ball still remains in play. Mentioned that there were college scouts here as this ball goes out of bounds. Here are some of the scouts that I saw watching this game. When you have a team from Cincinnati, it's no surprise to see Northern Kentucky here. And for that matter, when you have a team from Virginia, it's no surprise to see Washington and Lee. Dayton also in attendance, as well as, well, we are in North Carolina, Duke. Duke was there. The ball goes out of bounds. Ball out of bounds. McLean with possession. You can see they're trying to hustle up. As we have, maybe when you consider the extra time, about 10 minutes remaining right now in the game. 2-1. Cup Gold, the team from Cincinnati with the advantage. And certainly if McLean wants to win the game, you've got to figure that they'll need a quick goal. But right now it is Cincinnati with the ball. There's Ordonez, who has a goal, but the ball is taken away from him. I like that backward pass. And now a long kick, trying to get possession. And here comes number 7, Alkaline, who has one goal already. Centers the ball, the header for Diaz-Benia, and it doesn't go off his melon the way he wanted it to. This is Burrig who will be kicking it deep. Burrig using his left foot, and maybe not as deep as he would like. It was more of a low liner. Ordonez getting the ball into enemy territory, and ball goes off of him. So here comes McLean again. They trail by a goal. No overtime here. I have 7:45 remaining in regulation. This is a rough estimate, but we will likely have some extra time. The second game for both these teams. That ball barely kept in. And that one goes out of bounds. Getting it back in, we've got a whistle, and we'll have a corner. Scoring opportunity here for McLean to tie this game up. Well, if the score would stay the same, both these teams would be in the tournament at 1-0. Now we have the circumstance that I said before. Well, no, not necessarily. I was looking at some other play beyond there, but McLean taking their time because they want to set up properly. Setting up, and a nice save there by Burrig.
Hold it, Ryan. Hold it. Hold it, Ryan. Ryan, they're not even up yet. All right, hands are up higher than Birdie. Get in here, Birdie. Get on this side, Birdie. Birdie, you're not forcing them either way.
Here directions being given as we have now just more than 5 minutes remaining in regulation. A 2-1 lead for Cup Gold from Cincinnati against the McLean 2000 green. Or 00 green if you prefer. Shot taken from the goal scorer, and Alkaline can't get it past Burrig. Going to the center of the pitch, it's McLean. So you can probably see for yourself, there's about 3.5 minutes remaining in regulation. And now Duchuk kicking it deep, but Cup Gold keeping possession with their 2-1 advantage. Ball goes out of bounds. Diaz Bonilla will be kicking the ball. You may be hearing 3 minutes left. That's what separates Cup Gold from their first victory. There may be some extra time with the penalty kick. The deciding factor right now, it was Samuel Kunkemuller, his second goal of the tournament. Well, now here's an opportunity. Can they get it away? Nice block there. Give credit to the sizable defender, Brendan Callow. And McLean will regroup and try to set up again. Ordonez has the other goal for the Cup Gold. And it is Yassine Alkaline, who has often taken the majority of the shots for McLean green, who has the goal for the team trailing right now. Less than 2 minutes remaining in regulation. We're going to see fresh legs come on for Cup Gold. And the Cincinnatians will send out David Brocious. There's some special instructions here. Trying to get it to the center. But the kick is knocked away. A header. Can they get it in there? No. Opportunity there by Ethan Stewart, but he was just not able to head the ball in, and instead he was beaten to the ball by the defense of Cincinnati. We're in our final minute. Ball to the center of the field. good, kicking a ball away. Smart defense here by Cup Gold. Mentioned before that the mystery of the game, exactly how much time, and there is an injury, and so we may and we'll see right here the injury came, and you hate to see this because it's perhaps not in the final minute, but the final minute of regulation. And Birdsong is going to now, it appeared that he was going to be taken out, but he's going to stay in the game. And this is Burrig holding on to the ball. We'll have 3 minutes of extra time. Opportunity here for the green. Holding it, centering it. The kick, the header. The ball still free. The kick goes wide. Long shot now here. And a great play there by Burrig. Falling down, that was Stewart trying to get a shot off. Stewart wears number 3. For number 55, Tyler Smith creeping in from the right wing, and he cannot get to the ball. I believe it was Ordonez who was able to screen the ball away from a shot. Now we will finally have the sub here in extra time. David Brocious comes into the game, and coming out Brocious comes into the game. I know originally they were looking at taking out Birdsong, but he wears number 11. I'm trying to make a quick scan of the field to see if I see an 11. I don't see. Everybody's wearing their jumper on the bench, so I can't tell what's going on. Time short as we're in extra time here, and McLean trailing by a goal. They're going to go for a long kick here, try to set something up. Now an opportunity. It was Stewart. Here comes Elkeline. He is knocked away by Cowan. Great defensive play right there. The one player who has the goal for McLean, and they had a 1-0 lead. Elkeline was just knocked away from a potential tying shot by Brendan Cowan here in extra time. Now a collision. Who is it? Number 3, Ethan Stewart of McLean. And then Samuel Kunkemuller, who has the go-ahead goal in this game. They collided. Looks like we'll have a corner kick. One last chance here for McLean to tie. 2-1. And now the goalkeeper, it's like pulling the goalie. He's coming in. Here comes the header. The ball is knocked away. And Cincinnati's Cup Gold 2000-2001 has won their first game of this tournament. They have defeated McLean, Virginia by the score of 2-1. Well, in the early going, Yassine Elkeline had a goal in the first half off a header, made it 1-0. But then, later on in the period, we had a tally, and it came from Elias Ordonez, and that made it 1-1. Then a penalty shot in this half, Samuel Kunkemuller scoring the game winner. You can see McLean did everything they could try to do to tie this game in the final stages, but no dice. Both teams now 1-1 after a Cup Gold 2000-2001. The Cincinnati team with a 2-1 victory behind some outstanding goalkeeping from Ryan Burrig. The opposing goalkeeper was Tony Duchik, who had a strong play in the first part of the game, and really you can't blame him. A goalkeeper getting beat on a penalty kick probably not necessarily his fault. Well, that's the ball game. I'm Marky Bilson on the Turbo Sports Network.